Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, and welcome to another night working on the race truck. So before we get into what we're doing on the race truck tonight, I just made a post on Instagram actually like an hour or so ago. Tonight we wouldn't be making this video normally because tonight me and old Bob would have been on the road heading to Indy. It is the Thursday before the weekend that UCC was supposed to be, the first weekend in May this year. So because of all the stuff going on in the world, like every other event, that event has actually been pushed off till July. Me and Bob are still planning on attending UCC. It's a great time. If anything, the move to July is nice for the weather's sake. May, they moved it from April to that first weekend in May, and it's usually wet and kind of cold. So having it in July, it'll probably be the opposite. It'll be dry and just hot as heck. But hopefully they still get that event in. It's the one event every year that I do go to. As you guys know, like we've been getting the race truck ready, but I don't really go to other events because it's not ready, and I would rather be trying to get this thing there. Which this project has definitely gotten way bigger than it was ever intended on. So that is been a couple years coming where it should have been much more. We should have been doing it already, to be honest. We should have just kind of taken our time building the truck and kind of taking it out, maybe ran 670, and then go shoot for like a 590 or a Pro Street or whatever. But you know what, we were building the engine and I wanted 2,000 horsepower, so this is where we stand. But anyhow, UCC is definitely a good time. It's a great weekend. I have a great time going out there. I meet a lot of you guys, talk to a lot of the competitors, I try to talk to every one of the manufacturers there that are selling components. So when we go to build the truck, do stuff, we have an idea, we get contacts of people who to talk to, all stuff like that, and it's just a good time with a bunch of other diesel enthusiasts. So if you guys can make it in July, if the world opens back up, I strongly recommend you attend. It is a phenomenal time. So, and you're liable to see some records broken because those guys have a few more months to work on their rig, and everybody's been shooting for that 3,000 horsepower mark. Maybe this year with that extra time, somebody actually does it on that chassis dyno. I don't know, but definitely a good time. So anyhow, on to the race truck. So tonight on the race truck, we're actually going to be putting in a set of old school gauges. When I say old school gauges, I mean old school analog gauges. So right here I have just a cheap set of Bosch gauges. I think I got off of Amazon or something like that. You see these in a lot of older cars and stuff like that. Just people, vehicles without many gauges. You can pick stuff like this up at Pep Boys or whatever. Basically, it's oil pressure, voltage, and coolant temperature. Now, we're going to be doing something a little different. It's going to be oil temperature and oil pressure and voltage. The reason we're going to use oil pressure here is the oil pressure with the solid block that we have in the race truck. Our oil temperature is really going to be the thing that drives whether we can run the truck. So, we see that oil temperature up around 200, we can't run the truck, but we get that thing back closer to 100 or ambient, we can run it. So that's the reason I have the analog gauges. We should be able to read that through the EFI Live and through the computer on the truck, but I just wanted a set of analog gauges so I can make sure we have oil pressure and that our temperature is not too awful high. Now, to accomplish this, I actually made this fitting right here. So if I can get these adapters off. So you have the adapter here for your oil pressure, which goes through this plastic tube and then into the back of the gauge here. And then on your coolant, well, normally be coolant, for us it'll be oil temperature. You have this little thermocouple and then a line running back. And then it just screws into this, and then an adapter fitting to go into your port. So what I did was I actually took a T. This was I guess it's 3/8 threaded T. It's threaded 3/8 here and here. I adapted this down to the 3/8, and on this side I actually took a dash AN fitting and cut it down, or I guess it wouldn't be an A, it'd be a JIC because I was able to weld it. It was steel, but I made it so that we had JIC on this end because we have a JIC port on the oil filter housing for the race truck. Also, I drilled it out crossways so that this thermocouple could slide in freely. So that's how we're going to be getting our oil temperature and pressure. And then voltage, we're actually going to just come right off our little wiring block. And then we're also going to string up our lighting, which basically anytime the battery is on for the truck, the lights are going to be on for the gauges. So the lights aren't, you know, a crucial thing, but we're just going to make them so they're on all the time. It's not really a big deal. Where we're mounting this thing, I haven't 100% decided yet, but basically I want that stuff to be somewhere that's easily, obviously viewed from the driver's seat, but I also want it so when, you know, we're just checking on the truck, see how everything's going, if we can make them run or not. I want to have them so they can be easily seen. So whether they're going to go underneath of our edge or they're going to go up here, I haven't decided all that yet. But that is something we obviously have to do. So the port where we're going to be getting our readings for this is actually right here. If we look, which of course I should have grabbed that light, on the side of our oil filter housing. Right here is, yeah, let me grab my light. So if we look at our oil filter housing, there's our feed line going to our Garrett turbocharger, and right above that there is a -6 AN fitting that the guys over at Freedom had put in the block for us. So we'll take that cap off and our T will go right there, and we'll run everything into the cab of the truck. So we'll figure out exactly where we're going to mount that all up, get that all ran. Also, we need to get our plate installed here on the transmission tunnel, get that all worked out with our wires and all. And now that I'm talking to you guys, we have a bit of an issue right here. So apparently we have a little bit of a fluid leak. Well, that's pretty easy to figure out because there's only one thing that has any fluid in here, and that would be our hydro booster for our brake system. So it looks like it is leaking. I did bleed the brakes and all that, but this is the first I've been in here in a couple days, and yes, so that's not good. We're probably gonna have to get a new one of them. I don't know if there's a rebuild kit for that or not, but yeah, apparently our hydro booster is leaking inside the cab. So something else we got to do at some point, but anyway, let's get these gauges installed and get that cover back on. I'm throwing fluid all over the place. All right, so we got our little transmission access panel guard in. Had to notch it here for our shifter cable and for the wire for the anteater that goes down to the transmission itself. We got our gauges mounted here just below the edge so I can see them when I'm sitting in the seat. I can see them, you know, just here glancing in at the truck. And if you guys can see right here, apparently we are running about 18 volts. So I did fire these up once to check to make sure that they're working, which I'll do for you guys right now. So there we go. They are looking good. The lights are on. Our CTS2 is firing up. But when I did that the first time, it went all the way from this side all the way to 18. So something must have broken in this gauge. I will have to take it out, look at it. I'm not sure if it can be repaired. Honestly, these are some cheap gauges I got off of Amazon, and they've also been floating around here in the garage for quite a few months. So, you know, I probably knocked them or did something, who knows. But yeah, the thing went from 8 to 18. I'm like, whoa, what's with all this voltage? I took the trickle charger off the battery, all that. Yeah, I think just our gauge is broken. But they're in. I like where they're at. They're out of the way. They're easy to see. If we're sitting in the seat, you know, they're easy to glance over. Not that anything there should be of importance before a run. Like, before we go up to stage the truck or even like get in line to stage, you know, our temperature is going to be, you know, low enough to where we can get started. It's not like it's going to be, it's critical, but it's not like we're going to be kind of splitting hairs with it. We're either ready to race or we're not. Also, this is something I think somebody brought up before. I did change the steering wheel to this this one right here. I can't even remember the name of it. But yeah, it was a cool steering wheel that I saw, so I had to have it, and I got rid of the Grant one that we had. Just all these holes, all this, I just really like it. Plus, it's got spots where you can put a couple buttons and all that. But yeah, it just looked cool, and I wanted it. All right, guys, so that's a couple more things knocked out here in the garage. Little stuff, nothing major, you know, notched a plate, hung some gauges, you know, I just welded them to that tube, ran our wires, all that. Looks like we need a new voltage gauge, but honestly, we are only using the voltage gauge because we have it. If I could have gotten one with just oil pressure and oil temperature, I would have, but I think that 3-pack was as cheap as something like that was. But anyway, we're just using it because we have it. So we got some more gauges hooked up for the truck, some more reliable stuff. I mean, I guess I don't want to say more reliable, but just mechanical gauges, so if something fails electronically, we know what's going on. We don't have to worry about any sensors or anything like that. We're either going to see pressure, see temperature, or we're not. So happy with all that. We have more stuff to do to this thing. You know, I think things are starting to finally open back up, so we really need to, you know, get strapped down and get the stuff on this truck that we need. The real big thing right now, other than getting it running properly, which we are working on, we kind of need a suspension. So we need to weigh the truck so that way we can get off of our custom solid suspension and we can actually get a set of coilovers in there and get the 4-link all dialed in, because what I would like to do is actually figure out where we're going to set our 4-link and then maybe even get the truck aligned so we have a very good reference point to start off with. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe down below. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck.